It's like getting down to the nitty gritty. I mean,
Let's
we only
do
got
it.
a couple rounds left, so
And here we
how
go.
you feeling? You hydrated? You
I'm
feeling good?
hydrated. I'm motivated. I'm locked in. I'm laser focused. And it looks like we have some of that blue steel, sapphire steel is in the building as Jakxshadows is going to lead this thing off with a little bit of Mulan activation, change up to Calhoun. And we're back at it again with a little more Bleen City on the
Mm,
bubble.
and it is Mr. Jakxshadows. You called it. It is exactly as you said. It is as the person you thought it was, and 4-1, and we're getting to see Jotham yet again, like you mentioned.
Hmm.
And yeah, Jakxshadows hitting the ground running. It looks like he is on. It's going to be interesting to see what build he's on. It looks kind of like a Kiwi version. I am seeing Alice in hand,
Hmm.
so very reminiscent of that Kiwi style aggressive list. I really love this deck, this Kiwi decks. My main concern with this deck is on the draw. I feel like it could be a little tricky, right?
Hmm.
On the play, I feel like it's pretty straightforward. You just curve out. The curve is pretty nuts, and you just start protecting your guys. And before your opponent can really know what to do, the game is over. But when it comes to being on the draw, it can be a little tricky. So going to be interesting to see how Jotham's able to approach this. And obviously, Alice provides ward to characters, and
Hmm.
a lot of Jotham's strategy is to be bouncing characters. So interested to see how all that plays out.
Right. And fun fact, if you don't know, for you guys at chat who may not know that Jakxshadows is one of the inventors of this strategy. He's the one who put this deck onto the map. Like he's the one who put the hours in and testing. Him and Harlan Sweet are the co-creators of this deck,
Nice.
and that is his bread and butter. So electing to keep this deck alive for set 7. I know he's been experimenting with a lot of things, but bringing Kiwi to this tournament again. Huge shout out to Harlan Sweet as well, who also won a set championship already with this same strategy. So maybe this might be the new identity that Sapphire still has to go into. And I think this match could be a lot quicker than the last one, as like you said, he has that dedicated curve plan. You just lay the cards
Mhm.
down, get them bad things exerted, and get out of there. And I think that's what Jakxshadows has been doing this entire time.
For sure, we already see the Gontu waiting in the wings here in Jack's hand. He's just trying to go 1, 2, 3, 4, right up the ladder. And this next turn, there will be a Gontu in play with Ward, which will be
Hmm.
threatening 4 additional lore. It's going to be very scary here, especially since Jotham doesn't have a way to cleanly swing into this Alice. Oh, he actually just inks the Gontu. Interesting. Okay, so he decides to go wide rather than to go big. I
Hmm.
can respect that, and he's going to give that extra lore over to Smee, I would imagine.
Yeah, just
So,
continuing to quest, pile it up, as just like that, Jakxshadows sitting at 9, adding
mm,
that damage on over to Smee. Is that 9 or is that 11? I believe you're gonna be sitting at 9 now.
that
Pass
is
back on
9.
over to young Jotham, young Bleen himself, who has gotta
Young
be like,
Blaine.
what is how do you match this energy? What are you gonna do here?
I mean, you've got Pete on board, right? So that's gonna really already limit the options here. We see
Yeah,
Kit, but again, Kit Cloud Kicker can't kick the Alice. I mean, you can kick the Mickey, but
who
I'm
cares,
not
right?
sure how I feel about that. So it's gonna be tricky. Ward is definitely gonna cause a lot of frustrations here for Jotham.
For sure.
Uh,
Ward and Pete just absolutely run
yeah,
right
that's
through
that's the
Bleen City,
wombo.
man. Oh, shit. Forgot about that one, though. Didn't see that one
Ooh.
coming. I didn't even see that in hand.
I don't think anybody ever sees that thing coming. Oh my gosh, that's a
Jeez
big
Louise.
grandma.
That,
Okay, so
whew,
psych everything I said. I mean, he's just gonna
yeah.
shift in grandma, bash into this Alice, and now we got a grandma in play, guys. That's
Dang.
pretty relevant.
I didn't see it coming, as we will hit a huge docketing here as Doc goes into a Mickey food fight defender.
Yeah.
Underestimating him is a recipe for disaster, is
Yep.
his vanilla text in there.
Look at you knowing flavor text. We got a sticky Mickey, if you will. That's what they tend to call it, the sticky Mickey, because he does not fall to the normal 2 damage. He is resisting. So I
But
would have
look at
loved to get like a full food fight playmat for such as. Wouldn't that be cool?
that'd be so nice. Have all
You
the
know,
different food fight cards in there.
Yeah,
I'm
like
with
they're
it.
all
That'd
just
be
having a
sick.
massive cafeteria food fight. I thought that would have been a really cool idea.
It's not
I'm
too
sad
late.
we didn't
Maybe that
get
could
it.
be the next name of the next SSG. Just have a whole food fight.
It's just a big food fight party. I like
I'm
it.
with it. I'm with it.
And
I
we'll
fully
we'll have
support that.
Gabe bring the eggs and everything.
But
Be perfect.
Look at Jack Shadow's hand. He's hanging on to that McDuck Manor. You saw how vicious that library was last turn. What do
Mm.
you think this manor's going to go? The manor can go for 50. Man, if the library can go for 50, 30, the manor can go for 100. I mean, good
Yeah,
grief.
it's definitely possible. I mean, if he's not able to build up enough threats to punch into that manner, it definitely could be problematic. And we see he just inked one of the big ones that can actually deal damage,
Hmm.
the Clarabelle, which that 5 power is very relevant here. But Jotham thinking about, okay, he's gonna strike a good match. Interesting. Wonder
Yeah,
what he's thinking about here. He's gonna be probably bouncing. I would hope not the dock.
Please don't bounce
But
that
maybe
dog. Oh my god.
One of the Mickeys.
But
All right, let's
that
see.
grandma is strong, but not strong enough to do enough damage into this manner before you will get promptly banished as you continue to send this food fight defender back
Yep.
to the hand. We'll go ahead and hit clear the peak with how did the peak get cleared there? Oh, grandma is going to swing on the peak.
Hmm.
Yeah, so
Yep.
you can
So Pete,
send these characters into that grandma. I believe the grandma is sitting at a 4-6. I want, or is this shit 8? Is grandma at 8?
she is
Yo,
an 8.
grandma big, bro. God dang,
That's a
grandma
big
thick.
grandma.
God dang.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I'm sure Jotham is happy to not be sitting across from Go-Go's this time around, since
Oh,
she does hold quite the weight of damage on her. But we do see Jack essentially almost emptying out the hand. He's got one card left, but just trying to race to the finish line here before Jotham can get his bearings underneath him here.
for
And
sure. And
yeah,
that manner is established. I think if you have a you're welcome, you might have to spend it on this manner here. And you're gonna
mm,
feel bad doing it, but you
I don't
won't
see it.
regret it.
We have a Tala possibly to peek at another card here and potentially find your welcome, or we can Heffalumps and Woozles to try to draw a card, maybe bounce a Mickey here. But yeah, it's gonna be rough. You're using a lot of your ink. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's those two cards are not gonna do it. That's gonna
for
be a
sure.
sail and a fishbone quill, which is unfortunately not able to take out a manor.
For sure. And this is almost I think is that I can't do basic mathematics, but you get 2 from the manor and you'll get
Mm,
2 from one of these characters unless you can sing a song.
mm.
Keep in mind that the sticky Mickey does have resist, so the muses will not be able to challenge and banish. You need to get another song off and
Yep.
keep bouncing something. Bouncing this doc though feels like misery incarnate. You do
No,
not
you
want to do that
definitely, yeah. If you're bouncing dogs, you're in a bad place.
for
Um,
sure.
but
S-
let's see.
you can Heffalumps and Woozle, stop a quest, and bounce another Mickey, perhaps.
Mhm.
I think that's a heads up play.
So he's questing, choosing target. Okay,
Yeah,
so we're stopping Mickey from questing. We're
and you
bouncing the
get
other
to the you're
Mickey,
welcome here.
and we're attacking. Okay, so this Tala is doing a good job of cleaning up the board here, but we still have a giant mansion to worry about here.
Will you
And
sing it? I mean, is it too early to even consider singing this "You're welcome" onto this McDuck Manor?
no,
To
he
put
doesn't think so. All
okay,
right, I like it. Yeah, just save yourself the two lore. Obviously, stinks to give your opponent two cards in this situation, but it's either that or lose. So, yeah,
and
we're
you
gonna
can
have to
bounce
slow
that
down there.
Mickey, and you do bounce a Mickey as well. So this is a pretty decent spot. You will be able to stun lock the board a little bit and hope you can get into an under the sea because these
Mhm.
sticky Mickeys, you can only bounce them so many times. Don't forget to draw from turn as you can flood the board with a billion cards, perhaps. And
Oh
let's see
yeah.
if you can do that as Guard Dog Pluto is going to be on the far right side of Jakxshadows' hand.
Yeah, Jack, I mean, immediately, obviously having a lot more cards to work with here, right? He just a moment ago was pretty much in top deck mode, but now Jack's hand is pretty loaded up. And although Jotham's board does look pretty established, Jack may be able to just spam things in play. You just got
Hmm.
to be careful with that under the sea. You don't want to fall trap into that and just give up your whole hand to an under the sea. So, kind of have to just play tight here and make sure we continue to threaten lore without completely, giving up the whole board to some form of removal here.
For sure.
And we
Uh,
discard. I almost said downloading. We're discarding the Robin Hood into the discard pile there, and here we go. We got some Mickey's back. You can only assume that those are going to be. Ooh,
Okay.
nice shot there. Okay,
And we
perfect. Takes out the
will
grandma.
yeah, we'll just go ahead and flood the board, get that 3 lore down or 3 characters down in order to fully power up your Strength of Rage and Fire, clearing the Grandma Tala, the big one, the small one still hanging out tough as you'll play another one down. Can you find another song to keep
Mm,
the moment, to keep the hope alive?
yep,
And you
that's pretty
cannot.
bad. Ink Geyser and Sail. He takes the Inkable card, which I think is strategic.
Mhm.
Whether
You
or not he's
could
going to play
I,
it or ink
you,
it is interesting.
You might have to just go for this sale, maybe dig another car, unless you're gonna just rip an ink here. Look at that. I hate that
Mm,
maneuver. That feels bad as well because Jakxshadows like, give me some more cards. I appreciate you fueling my
yeah,
next my funding my next operation here. I'm
Jack's
totally fine
curve
with
is
that.
just so much lower, right? So he's just gonna get to do more stuff with his ink.
Hmm.
Jotham, although he will get a bunch of cards back, he did not develop a quill. So it's gonna be hard for him to catch back up on ink in time before Jack can just close this game out. He's at 15.
But
Um,
did you ink a song though? I think you didn't ink a song. Of course, you're not going to ink any songs in this deck. You're probably going to be playing most of your songs, and you have the opportunity to ink a second time for your Sail
yeah,
the Azurite
no
Sea of
songs in
Return.
hand. Yep,
Uh,
no singing happening here. So we're gonna get 3 more lore here from Jack. Oh boy, that's gonna be a tight squeeze here for Jotham.
is there a Pete? There is no Pete active. We will put the Space Pirate, and there he is. Never, I
Mm,
forget I said anything. There is a Pete, and there
mm,
is another
mm.
Mickey Food Fight Defender, and that could potentially get it done,
Yeah,
unless you
Pete.
have I don't know what you can draw here to get. I don't know what the outs are. Kit Cloud Kicker is decent. Maybe you
Yeah,
can
but
go
he
Kit and
not
then
enough.
challenge, but uh,
It's
yeah, you
gonna be
can't. I
real
think
real tight. I mean, real tight. Yeah, he can
yeah,
potentially
you can
kit and
kit
then
the
yeah.
Mickey, kit the ready Mickey, and send everybody else into the rest of the board.
Mhm.
But we're gonna go for a fishbone quill here.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know if
the
that's the maybe
no,
that's the
he
way. That's
inks.
the way.
No, he inks and then he plays kit.
Yeah. So we can kit here, pop the
That's it.
Mickey, send the
Yep,
rest of the characters in on a challenge, and Pete will be able to get a nice timely quest in. But this is just almost inevitability for Jakxshadows, who is just going to be able to continue to redeploy threat after threat after threat. And Jotham's going to be on the back foot for the remainder of this game as you're going to be blade running for one each time.
for sure. Yeah, that Pete was a tough thing to play around, and Jotham did the best he could there to clear the board out, but feels like at this point we're just kind of delaying the inevitable. You know, it's he's gonna keep spamming these characters on the board. Even Under the Sea will not clear the Smee here if he does
Hmm.
play Under the Sea. So it's gonna be pretty rough here for Jotham, unfortunately.
Okay, Jack Shadow showing a little bit of discipline, just clearing those muses to prevent some type of bounce tomfoolery, and even more challenging as Pete is going to be able to get a plus value in the process. And you did it right on time as the music. You did draw a song, and you have to establish another muses before you can play it. And this just might be let's go next situation as Jack Shadow
Mm.
comes out. Same thing, hits the gas pedal early and gets to the Dublinsky as Jotham is still trying to burn it down a little bit. Heffalumps and Woozles can't quest. I think you just got to get out of there. You can
Yeah, I
bounce.
mean, I appreciate Jotham really going for it here, really trying to hang on, but
Hmm.
it's like I said, we're wasting a lot of time on the clock here. We know how it went last round. Neither of these players want to look for a draw here, so I think we just got to find an answer quickly, or just be ready to go to the next one here. But
Okay,
as for now, I mean, Jotham is hanging on. I don't want to discredit him or count him out too
for sure.
soon. But it is going to be a tough battle to stop that last 2 lore from coming through.
Absolutely. And you will kind of keep digging it. You're gonna keep giving yourself turns as you're slowing it down. So maybe there's a world where you can turn the corner and just stop your adversary at 18 before they can get to that
Mm,
final
but can he
20.
stop this me?
Now Smee can't quest. He's got hit with the
Oh,
heffel. He got
gotcha.
woozled. He's woozy
He's
doozy right
woozled up.
now. He's
Okay, he's a little woozy. Got it.
he's feeling a bit woozy.
He's a
So
little too much rum on the ship. I got you. He's a little woozled out. Okay, so
he's a
he does buy
bumbling.
himself a turn. Okay, okay.
And you
Alright, we're
are
back
ramping
over.
again too. So this is maybe it's attainable as you bring out
Mm,
another super
Alice
threatening
is
win
gonna
condition.
be
Alice is
yeah,
just a gut punch.
that's a warded character that quests for 2.
Under the Sea is a viable threat though, as if you get to it, you are so back. But if you're
Mm,
not, the game is over. As warded threat, Alice hits the board, questing for 2, kicking it over to Jotham, who needs to get to the Under the Sea right now.
right, so does Woozle say he has to attack or he
No, no, no.
can't
They just
challenge?
can't quest.
Or can't quest, okay, good. So it
Hmm.
doesn't give him reckless. Okay, so Smee gets to sit around and just present himself as a potential lethal. So let's see, we got, I mean, 2 different ways to win and play, both of them are readied. Yeah, Clarabelle and Ink Geyser are not gonna do it, sir. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And that will potentially get it done. We're going to go Geyser here. Again, 35 minutes. I think I'm talking about scooping all the time and getting out of there and scooping early and all that. I think
Yeah,
if I'm Jonathan, especially what happened last round, I'm trying to save some time. And I'm like,
yeah.
okay, I see it. Let's just get out of here because
This
this one
little
might
gift
be
exchange is
unsalvageable.
cute, this little, white elephant that we're doing here, handing them, "Oh, here, you
Yeah.
take this hand, and I'll take this hand," and but ultimately, I think it's for none here 'cause, ooh, we're gonna okay, maybe, let
Maybe
me
you
not
can dig.
talk, but
Under the Sea still is a
maybe
viable
I'm just
thing.
yeah.
You can get to it. Maybe
No,
not.
he
And we're gonna
says
go
no,
next. Okay. So he's
no,
seen enough.
okay. Yeah, so I mean, we definitely did a lot on that turn when I didn't think we could do much. So I mean, definitely shout out to Jotham for really, giving it his best there and trying to find a way out. But the door was just too tight.
Mhm.
Jack, with presenting warded characters there, just very difficult to deal with. And yeah, Jack will take game number one, and Jotham will get to go first on this next one. So going to be interesting to see. As I mentioned, I really do like this. Kiwi deck on the play. I'm going to
Mhm.
be interested to see how Jack handles it on the draw. Jotham's deck is a little slower to get started, which I think is in Jack's favor, but anything can happen. We'll see. I mean, it looked like at the end there, Jotham was finally starting at his bearings, but the lore totals were just too far apart.
Right,
So
he piled it up way too fast. So
yeah,
if I'm Jack Shadows, I'm looking for those Pete's, man. I think Pete just completely annihilates this deck.
yeah,
It is
yeah,
hard on this deck. He
oh
just
yeah,
he resists the under the sea stuff. He resists he stops your opponent from singing songs. So if you can just chain together a ton of Pete warded characters, quest, get the if you hit that power curve of the Mickey into the Smee into a potentially a warded Alice into the guard dog into Pete Gantu, whatever you want to do, it's going to be
hmm
very difficult for this Bleen deck to work its way around for that. But what do you think Jotham needs? I think you got to lean on those muses, man. You got to get them down early,
yeah.
and they got to start
Muses,
bouncing.
kits, all that stuff's going to be relevant. Obviously, Alice is a big problem. So, hopefully finding himself a way to get rid of her. I mean, last game he did find a Tala from the top rope that
Yeah,
came
that was
down
cool to
and
see.
bashed into that Alice. I did not expect it. But yeah, it's gonna take a lot of work to make sure that Alice just does not get out of hand. Because if she goes unchecked, this game will be over before it even gets started. To be honest, so
For sure.
um,
What I don't want to
yeah,
see, I don't want to see that Ink Geyser. I think Ink Geyser in this matchup is basically an unplayable card.
I haven't
You
seen it.
gotta freaking fishbone that thing all the way up out of here, man, because you are
I
just
haven't seen that card
f-
do much yet. Between
not
this round and last round,
yeah.
I have not been super impressed with Ink Geyser. I mean, yeah, it
Honestly,
does a cool
in those 2
thing.
matchups, I think it's terrible because
Yeah.
you're giving the tempo players more resources to defeat you with because they need
Yep.
those low curves. They don't care about having this late game push. You're just
Right.
giving them more resources to violate you with, man. So
Yep.
I think in this matchup, I'm fishboning it. I'm discarding it. I'm what is it? Strike a good matching. That thing is gone, dude.
Yeah.
I don't even care if I lose. I can't win with the Ink Geyser, so I'm definitely not going to play it. I don't
No,
know.
for sure. That's a great call, and I definitely think that that's totally relevant. Like I said, these last maybe it's just the raw matchups for the card, but between this round and the last round, like it's cool. It puts a bunch of cards up in the
Mhm.
hand, and everybody, oh, cool, Ink Geyser. But then it doesn't really
Right.
do anything
If
after
my
that.
opponent has access to cards like, I don't know, Be Prepared, or if they have cards like Maui Shark, or if they have cards
Mhm.
like, I don't know, Power's Life, or things like that that require well, not Power's Life, because you can sing together on that one. But if you have cards that have these late game high cost effects, yeah, Ink Geyser might be good because you can actually disrupt their game plan. But in this deck, Jack Shadow can pump the brakes at 5 relatively easy. I think that's the highest cost in the deck is going to be 5. You set me back to 3, I don't care because 95% of my deck is unfazed by an Ink Geyser, and you're just giving me more units there. As it looks like we're oh, I'm back. I can see
Cool,
myself.
yeah, we're doing a quick judge call. I think Jack had a question for the judge.
Okay.
So we're just taking a quick BRB while we clear something up. Not sure
Okay.
what it could be, but it's between games, so hopefully not something super relevant. Maybe just a question he needed answered. But who do you think? You think Bleen has a shot here to turn this around and bring the set back to a 1-1, or how you feeling
Sure.
about this matchup right now?
I think on the play, I do think that the excuse me, I think that the Kiwi curve or the Sapphire Steel curve is a little bit better. I think the Sapphire and Steel curve deck is a little bit better in this situation. However, I think that there's always going to be a path to victory. You're going to be on
Mm,
the play, so you obviously want to see that turn 2 ramp. You want to get a Sailor Tipo down. You want to get the
mm,
muses down immediately. Okay, they got to get down right away, and
yeah,
then you need to follow that up with another 4 cost or higher character to potentially get an under the sea. Because if your under the sea is not getting sang within the first 10 turns, then you're cooked, man. I think
yeah, you're probably already
that
lost.
is
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's vital.
For sure. And this is definitely, I mean, this is the kind of decks that you really don't want to be running into if you are Bleen.
Hmm.
You're hoping for a slower deck. You're hoping for maybe a red purple or maybe a red blue, like these decks that take a little more time to get their footing,
Hmm.
where it allows you to set up and kind of get your win condition in, your setup in the zone. But when you have these decks that are just like I said, 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop, 4 drop, sideways,
Right.
sideways, sideways, it's really tough to really stop that from happening. It's like you're spending more time trying to stop your opponent from winning than you are trying to win the game yourself.
Yeah,
And
and that's just not a favorable spot to be. But
yeah, it's
if
tough.
there's a way you can, like, try to retain as much initiative as possible, if you can come out, hit a turn 1, um, hit a turn 1, what I don't even know what you can do on turn 1 in this deck. Maybe you can do a turn 1, I'm not sure,
Or
whatever I have to look at
I don't know if he plays Clarabelle's on turn
maybe the
1.
baby Clarabelle, or you hit turn 2, you're ramping on 2, your Muse is on 3, maybe even Grandma Taller on your 4th turn, and then potentially if Jakxshadows has potentially set up the board in a way, or maybe if you can get a Sapphire Coil down to kind of start reducing those Smees and such, and then get a nice timely Under the Sea, I think that's going to be the way that you can win. Because the thing about Jakxshadows' deck is that he does have the ability to draw cards in the form of Dock, and I think that's really it.
Yeah,
If you can just bleed them of resources early on, you can kind of write your own ticket and just win. But I
for
like to
sure,
see
yeah.
that happen. I don't think it's possible. I think it's very possible, but it's not the most likely thing.
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen, obviously. Yeah, this is the game of variance, and, there's no winner, or both players have to draw 7 cards and do their
Mhm.
best to win the game at the same time. So I mean, anybody could take the game. For all we know, Jack could brick and draw 4 Alices and 3
For sure.
Docks, and the
Yeah.
game's over. So anything could happen. But yeah, just being able to kind of, I think the biggest card you mentioned earlier is Pete, right? I mean, I think
Yeah.
that blue green just relies so heavily on being able to resolve their actions on their turn, and a well timed Pete just really puts essentially a stop to a turn for them. It really
Oof.
makes them essentially skip a turn, and we see we're getting right to business here as Jack goes into the
The
defense
shift
mode here. Yeah,
shift
with
Robin
Robin
Hood coming
Hood.
out early. I did
Yeah,
okay. So that is
and
an
look at this
option
look at this start. I mean, he's got Calhoun and Robin Hood, which in my opinion, incredible options on the draw, right? These
for
are
sure.
cards that you really don't want to see on the plate. You'd rather have Smee and all these guys, and Calhoun is really gonna, put her foot down if Jotham does decide to try to take care of this Robin Hood.
So
So
looking at Jotham's hand, he does have the access to the Sapphire Coil and Fishbone Quill. You can also almost even take a turn off and set both of those cards up right now and
yeah,
just hope for the best. I
the
think that
sooner the
is
better, I think,
not
because
the yeah. You're gonna run out of time if you don't do it literally right now. As you're gonna go ahead and take the quill is in, and then you can possibly get this Sapphire Coil in as well, or get the Sapphire Coil in as well, and then you could go all in on your Clarabelle scheme. Even though it's still not going
Mhm,
to be great, you're not going to get much value out of it. But just the stats from Clarabelle, I think, are super high impact in this current juncture. As you do that, it is a low tempo turn, but I think this may pay dividends if you want a clear path to victory.
for sure. Yeah, you need to set up right. You need to find a turn where you can squeak in your action or your items rather. And I think that was probably the most opportune turn you're going to find. Everything after this is going to be pretty much survival, so it's going to
Hmm.
be hard to find another time here. But
Mm.
this Robin Hood absolutely doing work here, and Jack, yeah, I mean, just the opportune draw. I mean, absolutely fantastic draw for his position. And you see again, waiting in the wings is a gone to.
A,
Um,
a freaking awarded Gantu is just
yeah, it's
terrifying.
out of hand.
Holy.
Yeah,
So this is almost looking Grim Reaper immediately. Looking at the hand, you got that Clarabelle. You can get the Clarabelle down, but you might have to take some time off and get this genie on the job up and active right now to kind of fuel your Clarabelle into the next to the next turn. Tipo goes down into the inkwell. Uh, yeah, you can genie on the job, bounce this Robin Hood.
Robin Hood. Yeah, you're going to be giving your opponent 2 ink back, which I'm sure Jack will be happy to have. But yeah, both these cards will be bounced back to the hand, which I think is best case scenario that Jotham can do right now is just get that off the table here. What he doesn't know is, he's in for some more trouble here, since now
Hmm.
he's able to just ink this baby Robin Hood if he so chooses, and either run out of Robin Hood, okay, or he just wants to replay it. That's a possibility as well.
Yeah,
Just
just
trying to go
keep
wide on the board. Yep.
flooding. Yeah, get wide with it and fire the
Ooh,
cannons is going to be able to remove this TPO, which is quite huge. That's going to break up your potential under the sea singing ability, which would have been a bit devastating if you can get an ink off,
not
reduce the
even
strength of one
that.
of these three.
It would allow the genie and the Tipo to attack the Alice, right?
Yeah.
And then now, Genie's got no help, so Alice will get to live another day. So that's another huge
Oh,
reason to take that Tipo down. So yeah, that's a great turn there for Jack.
Beautiful. So checking out the hand here, you do have this Clarabelle is up, and you got some Heffalumps and Woozle action. I think you might have to just even. I think questing this genie is I don't know, man. You're gonna clear the Calhoun. I think
Yeah.
is absolutely correct, and I think you just got to go Clarabelle. Just get your 2 cards, and that just feels so
Yeah.
bad. But it's a
Yeah, I
meat
mean,
stick. The stats are
you're
great.
gonna draw 2 at least, but yeah, that's I mean, the thing is, it will Jack eventually run out of cards here, right? Like he's got some good gas in hand right now, but no ways to refill, right? So
Hmm.
if Jotham can just stick it out here and just get around, now he's got a threat that could attack the Alice, right? He's got an evasive guy in play. So he does have ways now to kind of maybe hold down the fort and hope that Jack just doesn't get into more gas, right? We don't want him to
Oh,
find a dock here. But that's gonna be a big one. So yeah,
that's
that's gonna be
huge.
gone to with Ward, and that's threatening. Oof, yeah,
So much lore, dude. Oh my goodness.
God, that's
Oh
17
man,
guaranteed, pretty much.
piling it on. You need Under the Sea here again. And ooh, you're welcome, but everybody's warded up. Gantu is warded up. The
Yeah,
Alice is warded up. The big threats.
you wanna you're welcome that Robin Hood, bro, because
Honestly,
that's
I
pretty
think as
much
crazy as it sounds, you might have to you're welcome this me
that's me.
just to
Yeah,
dig for this Under the Sea, man. Because if you don't get Under the Sea right now, you're about to get violated, man. I think you might have to or you might have to you're welcome your own stuff or something. I don't know. I honestly don't know what the correct answer is because you got to
yeah.
dig, man. You got to get this
So
under the sea here, or the
Clarabelle
game's
could
over.
attack the
Alice.
Alice. Okay, and then technically speaking, Genie could attack the Smee if
Hmm.
he needed to.
He
But
will lose him in
then,
that challenge though.
yeah, no, he would lose him. But I mean, got
What are
to
you gonna
stop
do?
the lore somehow. Even though that Gontu is still coming in for 4 next turn, no matter what. So yeah, it's
Is there
definitely not
ever
the
a
best
world?
situation. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not good. It's not good.
This yeah, they've got we do love Gantu out here as Jack Shadows is a big Gantu supporter. Captain Cranky Head is on the board. Talk about a quest for 4 guy. Look at this dude.
Mm,
Just not caring about anybody around him. As you are
okay.
going to have to you're welcome this me, which feels misery incarnate. Okay, that feels bad. You do what you got to do though. Giving Jack Shadows 2 more cards in the process. You're not playing Bend to My Will, and you really can't engage with these ready with these warded up characters either. So you're going to lose your Alice. But this Gantu quest for 4 is a back breaker with 2 more cards coming your way.
Right. He can go ahead and kick Cloud Kicker here as well, which
Hmm.
will return the Robin, and then he can attack freely with the Clarabelle. But the Gontu is
He's a
still still a card. So
And what do you do with this Robin Hood? Do you
yeah,
already
we
get the Robin
blast
Hood?
him
Okay,
back. Yeah, we just blast him back there,
and
and
you
then
are
ink up so we can
ramping.
draw some more cards.
Which I think that was a you could not Sapphire Coil the Alice anyway, so it would not have mattered. It does have Ward as Gantu is
Sure
free
does.
and cleared a quest for a nice healthy 4, as you did get some tremendous value from your Clarabelle, as Jack Shadow's hand is quite bulky. We'll
Yeah.
get that 4 piece in there, going up to
When I said that
17.
Jack Shadows needed to find some gas, I didn't anticipate it would be coming from his opponent.
Yeah.
But he is definitely refilled and happy to be so. And now it's gonna be tough to close the door here for Jotham as we have a bunch of new cards in here. You have
Another
another
Gantu.
Gontu. Yeah, it's crazy. Another Gontu might be blouses here for him, but we'll see.
We'll see what the hand is, and we know you do have some answers to another Gantu without Ward. You have more your welcomes. I don't think you're playing Mother Knows Best. You have is that a second genie on the job, so you will be able to bounce it back to hand to kind of take some of that tempo away. Is that good enough? Let's stay tuned to find out. As
Mm,
you could also potentially go another Robin Hood. We're going to take a second fire to cannon here to just remove that cloud
yeah,
kicker,
might as
uh,
well.
taking off some potential bounce.
Get
And
some
we'll
cards out of your hand so Clarabelle can't just keep drawing.
Mm.
Ink out as much as possible. There you go.
Oh,
Empty
look at
the
that.
hand. Yep. You empty the hand out, present a real big deal here because now Clarabelle is the only attacker present. And we
Mhm.
definitely don't want to lose Clarabelle, but it's not really an option at the moment. So it's going to be interesting to see if I can't see what's in Jotham's hand, but it's going to be rough.
Yeah,
Let's see.
electing to go no card negative and putting this Robin Hood up and active. If you engage with this Gantu, your Robin Hood could then clear the Clarabelle and actually
Mhm.
survive while gaining lore in the process. So Sapphire Coil coming in on the Gantu as expected. Bring him
Yep,
down by
yep.
2.
Shake him up. All right.
Mhm.
Kick
And we can
Cloud
kid him.
Kicker. We'll
Look
set
at
him
that.
back. Okay. So as we can see, this seems to be the story of the games here. It's like Jotham is now finding his groove here, right? But
Mhm.
Jack's at 17, right? He's at 17 lore, and although Jotham's board is starting to look, pretty juicy, will he be able to hold the door shut long enough for Jack to not be able to just come in here and drop something warded here and just end the game?
For sure.
And
This
Pluto,
is this is what this deck wants to do. I think this is the win condition of the deck. You just bounce everything back to the hand, get
yep,
tremendous value with Clarabelle, control the board, and eventually you'll set up a quest.
yep,
And how
bust it up.
often can you do that? I think as Jakxshadows is going to continue to flood the board, this Gantu up and active again. Do you have another answer for it? Are you
Right, he
Blade
doesn't
Runner?
have muses in play. Oh, he's got double "You're welcome," which is, pretty good in this situation considering that you have Clarabelle. You can definitely "You're welcome" and draw a ton of cards. However, no muses yet, right? Muses would have been a real big deal breaker here, considering that you have Sapphire Coil and muses. That's a pretty lethal combo. But we have not found muses quite yet, so we'll go ahead and do a little digging here. If we find a
Mhm.
Heffalump and a Genie,
Another genie on the job. Okay, so we're probably going to
mm,
discard that Tipo almost right away with
yep,
the strike a good match, and you might be able to play this game. I think you can win this one. This one
yeah.
might seem like you have the outs to continue to put Jakxshadows in this endless Genjutsu Tsukiyomi bounce forever type beat, man, and just get him
Yep,
out of here as you'll continue to
absolutely.
quest in the process. This looking quite good for Jotham, aka Mister Bleen City over here, Bleen
Mr.
Village.
Bleed. Mr. Bleed, bleed with it, rock with it.
Bling with it, rock with it, doing his
Young
bling,
Bleed.
getting
Yeah,
bleeny with it. As we're going to go ahead and hit that genie of the job, we're bouncing again to back to hand again, and now
yeah,
we are kind of getting to a position where we can start to quest.
yep, and it's starting to look a little grim for Jack here. I mean, I think he raced as far as he could here, but, he doesn't have any way to burst any lore,
No.
and it's looking like Jotham is just getting a little bit too many cards, um, before Jack's able to seal the deal here, so, double your welcome still in hand.
Hmm.
So if any threats or any locations or anything come out, instantly dealt with. We'll continue to draw cards off this Clarabelle in addition to the "You're welcome." So is he going to sing "You're welcome" here? Wait,
Sing your
okay.
welcome onto the Robin Hood potentially keep at 17. I honestly think 17 is pretty good. It's a lot better than 18. I'll tell you what, with all those Smees and Alice's rolling around, I think it'd be fine to do that because now
Okay.
if he
He
slams
just
into
quested.
Alice here, you might be in trubs. As
Yeah, he quested. He'd rather not ink away anything here, so chooses just to quest and pass it back since he does have
the
pretty good
Kagi
control.
boy, Kagi Bushin no
Ooh,
Jutsu. Oh no,
Kagi boy. That is a warded character.
he is indeed.
Oh
Oh
my
man,
goodness.
and the Kagi boy for the dub. That would be so fitting if it works out. And he's out.
Ooh, ooh,
Ooh.
okay.
As
Gotham's
Jotham
like,
shows
okay.
a little sign of tilt as that
Yeah,
warded character comes up. Now we are under the sea or bust here as we pass it back on over. The Muses won't do anything. The Eurocals won't do anything. You didn't quest the Robin Hood though. Interesting indeed. Was he able to quest? Or he was Hufflepuff. Never mind. He couldn't quest. I'm so
he
bad.
was Hufflepuffed. Yeah, so now we could theoretically I think he has muses as well in hand, which is gonna make it a really
Hmm.
muses gonna make it tough. So now we could start playing this game. We can't get rid of the Cogsworth, but we can get rid of the other two via bounce or you're welcome and draw a bunch of cards off Clarabelle. It will not end the game. Jack will still get to go up to 19 rather, but after that, then what,
Hmm.
So it's going to be a very tight race here as Jotham starts to claw his way back in, but will it be enough?
Yeah, I think this is how this deck's supposed to work. And I'm telling you right now, this is not a deck that I would like to play. I mean,
Yeah, it's not my play
this
style.
is not my play style at all because I like to just have some kind of agency on myself where they just can't run out and get to 18. I got to play this fun filled game of adventure as we are going to
Right.
you're welcome our own dude, our own property is getting shipped back into the deck to try to find this under the sea. I think you're
Yep.
digging for it here.
Yep.
Under the
Absolutely.
Sea might be a blowout. I think Jakxshadows might lose there if Under the Sea is card coming off from this draw 2.
Okay. Going back. So what do we get off that draw to?
Did he draw 2? I think he did. It's a strike a gut match,
Yeah, he
and there
did.
is a sapphire coil there.
I think he had the coil. It might be the fishbone coil he drew there, but either
Mm,
way,
okay.
he has both in hand. Yeah. So let's see. He has other options here to draw. Yeah, he's going to draw 2 more cards. Gives him yet another bounce, which he can use on the Mulan. So no
Okay.
more lore on Jack's table except for the cog.
I'd be very reluctant. I am getting a little bit of glitching on my end. I think I don't know if it's coming into the stream. Just a little heads up
Yeah, it
production.
might be little glitch. Let me see here.
It's buffing. It's buffing out. Work with us out here.
Um,
Shout out to it's just at a very critical moment as we're digging, trying to get to that under the sea. We have not seen a copy of it yet. As We'll go ahead and ink one, ink two, play sail.
hmm,
Just continuing to rid our hand of cards, just trying to get some more tremendous value from this Clarabelle. And we're going to get a nice quest, all glimmers here. You
that's a
can't
good one. Yep,
and
that's a good
pass it on
quest.
over.
Yeah, six is a real healthy quest and threatening essentially to end the game here. I mean, if Jack doesn't have a way to respond here, and Jack he's digging, but it's not no ways. We don't have any Cobras or anything in this deck that we can just burst the lore out. So Jotham might end up scooping this, not scooping rather, but taking this game to a game 3.
Hmm.
But
Well,
it's going to be
we
tough.
do have that strength of raging fire that you can put out, and you will have to exert your cog boy to sing it to clear one of these genies, which feels miserable. I mean, I'm certain you
Yeah,
didn't want to do that. You'd much rather have this bad boy questing, but you did present lethal damage or lethal damage to your opponent and pass back on over. If they can't answer this Gant to you, you can kind of snatch this one as you've been fighting
but
hard. You know that there is a you're welcome there, so you
yeah,
won't be able to do it. As
yeah.
I think Jotham City is going to get to the dub here. Excuse me, and force a game number 3.
I agree. Yeah, I think so. You're welcome here. Gets us a shuffle, gets us another bounce, and I think Jacker
Yeah.
he knows what's going on here. Yep. So
Dang.
Jack with an amazing start for being on the draw. I mean, just an absolute great hand for him. But Jotham just finds his bearings, slowly puts the pieces together, and as you can see, once the machine is built, very hard to disassemble. So Jotham will take us to a game 3. However, Jack now on the play, which is going to be very beneficial for Jack, in my opinion, considering that he's trying to hit the ground running. Jotham's trying to stop that from happening and being on the play is just a big advantage when it comes to these more aggressive strategies.
Oh, for sure. I think that, but I honestly feel, and I'm not just saying this because I'm slightly biased towards Jakxshadows,
Hmm,
but I think that this Sapphire Steel Kiwi deck is one of the best on the play decks in the game. And I'm not just saying that.
I
I
would
think
agree.
when this deck is going first, when it's on the play and is able to just hit all those markers, it's very difficult to beat. So
For
Jotham
sure.
was on the play that time, and he hit the plays that you wanted to hit, and I really like that. That time you took off, you showed a lot of tactical patience with the fishbone quill. You set up the sapphire coil, and that is kind of where the game kind of turned on its head. And you were able
Mhm.
to kind of really get that resource train rolling and send the cards back to your opponent. Clarabelle showed out great. So the deck, we got a chance to see what the deck is designed to do. And I think it's a really cool deck. Not for me, though. I don't think I can
Yeah, it's just
personally.
complicated, right? I
Yeah,
personally don't have the brain power to do a full day of these kind
of
of
that.
decks. Like even with the red blue decks and the green blue decks, like I love me a good control deck, but I think like red purple's like the furthest I go when it comes to control, like be prepared and
Hmm.
tempo style. I can't just sit here, let my opponent get to 19 and then figure out a way to win the game. You know, it's tough. It's tough. You have to really enjoy playing under pressure if you're playing these kind of decks because for me, once my opponent's at 19, I'm already looking for, I'm looking for the
Yeah.
bathroom. I'm out of here. So
I'm looking for a way out. I'm already sculpting the story I want to tell about
yeah,
how I
yeah,
got sacked and how the world
exactly.
hates me and how my deck
Yeah,
failed me. I'm already plotting my exit though. So I don't know, but
exactly.
it looked like Jakxshadows had the McDuck Manor and elected to send it back into the deck. Probably
Okay.
afraid of the Euro welcomes, but I like the locations in this matchup, especially if I saw what. Probably you're not watching the stream, so you probably didn't see how effective that library was in the previous round. But that
I
curve,
did. I was watching and it
no,
was very
I'm talking
effective.
about Jax. I'm sure Jax didn't
Oh,
see
I got
what
you.
we saw and how that library went for
Yeah.
an
For
infinite
like
amount of lore.
16 lore. Yeah, it was pretty absurd. As we'll go ahead and get us started with a little Mulan action, get us a little card deeper here, and we'll pass it back over after we discard our song.
Hmm.
And let's see, what do we have to start off here for Jotham? You notice Jotham, the game he won last game, he did not play Inkizer.
There
Surprise.
you go. I think he identified that card is absolutely atrocious here, and you just can't
Yeah,
do
I
it.
just
I'd rather lose
that
the game
point.
before I play it. I'd rather
Yeah.
just lose before I just make myself lose a little bit later. So I don't
Mhm.
know. I think it's unplayable in this matchup. But you have it in hand. I'll be interested to see if you try to weave it in, or will you get that thing strike a good match on into the discard pile.
For
As
sure.
Jack Shadow is out with a pretty decent curve, you probably like to have a Smee here to kind of get some heavy questing done. But Calhoun can kind of freeze dry the board a little bit, and it will resist the kit. But you have that Sapphire Coil set up again. I think Sapphire
Yep.
Coil is great in this matchup.
For sure. Yeah, definitely what you said is 100% accurate. I mean, I feel like Jack would have much rather seen this me there. Definitely
Hmm.
gonna slow down his lore by just a bit, but Calhoun's still a solid threat, something that cannot just be bounced away by Kit or anything like that, as you mentioned. And now with the support of Alice, potentially threatening to be a resist character that can provide two lore next turn, but we are going to shrink it down and send it back to where it came from.
For
So it will
sure.
go back to the hand, which is to be expected. However, we're still going to get a four lore turn here
Ooh.
with Mulan and Alice, so that's still pretty good here.
And you can bring the Calhoun back in a
Mhm.
double. You send one back, two more come into the play as Alice is going to come on in, give Ward and Quest to the Mulan, who goes all the way up to 7 now as you pass the problem set back on over to Jotham City, who's going to have to figure something out. Your hand's looking very slow as Clarabelle
Yep.
is so far away from getting into the field of play. Tipo not doing much. Fishbone Quill can't do much. Grandma
Mm.
Tala, what is she really even doing? So you really
Yeah,
have to think about this one because this game is spiraling. And if you can't even exert this Kit Cloud kicker, because Calhoun's going to absolutely go off the backboard, slam dunk Kit Cloud kicker right on into the discard pile as well.
for sure. And Jotham, I think he's feeling it too. You see him put his hand down, cross his arms for a minute, take a look at the table, like what have I gotten myself into here? And as you mentioned, hand looking very slow, right? A bunch of ways to ramp,
Hmm.
but ramp is not going to do it. Jack is coming in for quite a lot of lore next turn. We've got 2, 4, 5, 6 lore potentially, more if this kit turns sideways, which I doubt it will. But yeah, just a lot of lore and not a lot of time here for Jotham as he tries to quickly find the pieces here. But so far,
Yeah.
I don't see anything that's going to help him get super ahead here.
We
We
did
do
kind of
still
get
have
something
foil
going. We,
shenanigans,
we
though.
did get the grandma going with the muses a little bit, as you'll just slam the kid in just to take any lore that you can. You got the
Mm.
muses and you got a song that could be enough with the sapphire coil to slow Jakxshadows down a little bit.
Oh, we're
But
going to
I,
get two warded characters.
oh,
Three.
another Allison. But
Yeah.
that Alice is singing though, which is I think
Ooh.
that's some good value as you take a little bit
I
of
like
lore
that.
off.
I
But now
like
you
that.
blast this grandma Tala, so you break up that potential shift line. Look at that. You got shifted on shift me one, shame on you. I won't be
Yeah, Jack
shifted
said
again.
I learned my lesson on that one. He says, he saw the way that grandma transformed last time, and he's like, I don't know about that. So he's gonna
Heads
go ahead
up
and just
play
get rid of
too.
it.
Because also you break up that singer and you could have went muses, ink, sing, and do some devastating combat catch up tempo plays, but now you can't
Absolutely.
even do that. So this one just might be straight Jover, it looks
Great,
like.
great play by Jack. A lot of more inexperienced players may have just said, "Oh, I can't resist," questing here and
Hmm.
giving ward to this Calhoun and getting another lore in, and it's a very tasty line of play. But Jack just being able to be disciplined here and say, "All right, like you said, and if that Tala lives, there's potential for even more danger. So we're just going to sacrifice the two lore and just get in there and get rid of that card." So now he's got a way bigger board, which will be all warded up next turn
Hmm.
and a much harder thing to deal with for sure.
Yeah, this is just an
So,
absolute devastating situation. You keep rocking the sapphire coils while you can, because those things are going to
oof.
be useless next turn. As you're going to quest with a double ward everything, and this is just so much lore coming in. That's 2, 4, 6, 8 with a Robin Hood standing in the wings for
Mm.
another potential 2 lore, potentially 4 lore, 3 lore swing as we'll continue to quest, give lore. Both Calhouns should be uh, warded up and plus
Just thinking
2 in
about
the
it.
lore.
One Calhoun already has the ward in the lore.
Hmm.
Okay, he does decide. He was thinking about giving it to Robin Hood potentially,
Which wouldn't have
but
been
he says,
bad.
"Yeah." He's like, "I'll take my extra lore and my ward now." And yeah, this is a pretty scary predicament here. Four warded characters. You're playing a,
Yeah.
a deck that relies on targeting characters. So this is going to be real tough for Jotham to get out of, and I think it might just be over here.
Yeah, we'll just throw the
There it
fist
is.
up right there, and this thing is
All right,
absolutely
your boy
cook.
Jack. You
Just
you asked for
go.
him to be here, and he came and performed here for you. So he didn't let you down. As Jack moves on to a 5-1, should be healthy enough to potentially draw into top 8, but we shall see how that all plays out. I have not looked at the brackets, so I don't want to start
Mhm.
doing math that doesn't make sense. But yeah, we do have a great game series rather. And unfortunately, Jotham, after a great start today, 4-0, does take some 2 back-to-back
Yeah.
losses on camera. So
And
that's
that
that's
that
a little
might
rough.
that might be the end of the tournament run. I think X2, but you did lose late. That's one good benefit you have going for you. So if you come out and have a nice dominant performance here in that last round, there
Yep,
is some potential. I don't
for
know,
sure.
is my camera dying or something? Because it feels like I'm turning like 3D or something. I don't know
Mm,
what's
You're turning 3D. It could be. I don't know.
I don't
Stefan's
know.
moving the screens around right now. I
Okay.
don't know what's
I
happening.
don't
I'm
know.
like
It's
shifting
all good.
around.
Maybe it's something I got on my end. Maybe I'm
Now I'm on TikTok mode, and there's this thing over here. Stefan, what's going on, brother? Can you lock in?
Stefan's
Stefan,
cooking, man. You guys
I
got to
know it's
treat
getting
Stefan with
late,
some.
but can you lock in, dude?
We're in
Come on,
TikTok
man.
mode. We're
There
vertical.
we go. We did
We're
it.
we're horizontal. Okay. Okay. We can get
We
like
did it.
a like that.
Yeah.
What's wrong
See,
with this? Can we do this?
wow.
This is
How did
fine.
we? Wow,
I like
Stefan.
this.
Why did we
Stefan.
take so long to get here?
And maybe we can put
This
like some
is
stuff at the bottom. I think we're
yeah,
here. This is
Stefan.
good.
Can you lock in,
I
dude? Can
feel
you?
honestly, Gabe,
Can you
or Skinner,
lock
I feel like
in?
I
No.
can breathe. I feel like I can breathe. Like
Dude,
I feel
I
like
had to
this
tell
whole
him,
time
lock
we've been
in, dude.
so constricted in the booth, but now I feel like I can digitally
Yeah,
breathe.
I could do this now, and you
Yeah, I
could
can
actually
spread
see my
out.
arms.
I can
Wow.
feel it, dude. Shout out to Stefan, dude.
Wow,
I feel like a
dude.
new
It only
man.
took us 6 rounds, but we figured it out,
We
guys.
got there. We got loose, huh? I
By the
like
way,
that a lot.
Gabe brought me this really hot tea, and I appreciate Gabe so much.
Mhm.
Not a big tea guy. Not a big tea
Really?
guy. Had a
You
little
gotta lock in.
sipperino. Kinda tastes like cologne, but I'm gonna drink it
You gotta lock in,
because
dude. What kind of you gotta what kind of teas have you tried? Okay, if you're just going to your grocery
I'm
aisle and
doing
just grabbing the
I'm
bag of
doing
Liptons off of there,
chamomile, pretty
Cham-
flavorless.
chamomile's time to go to bed though, big dog.
Yeah, well, I'm an anxious guy, dude. I have
Okay,
anxiety, so
yeah,
little
try.
chamomile kinda simmer me down, and
Okay,
then, get me in the mood to
respect.
take a little napsy or something, but, I don't do
Get you
coffee.
some Earl
I don't
Grey or something.
Earl
Get you some.
Grey, okay. I've
Yeah,
heard
not,
I've heard of Earl Grey. I don't
it's
know what
pretty.
it tastes like, but
It's quite good, man. I think
I've
it's.
done some green teas and stuff, good for
Mhm.
digestion, but I don't know what kind of tea this is. It does have a little bit of a unique taste to it, but I gotta ask Gabe when he comes back in here, but,
Okay,
um,
make sure he didn't put no pickled egg juice in your tea, and it's like
that
boiled
might be why it has a weird taste. It might
boiled
be
vinegar
some let
juice
me
in
see if
your
there's some
tea.
Red 40 in my friggin'
Yeah,
my
that's
tea
all it
here.
is. He's like,
No, it looks like
we worked it in there.
this is a
That's
questionable color, honestly. Questionable color.
wait a minute.
Questionable
Hold up. Oh, hey, wait a
questionable
hold
color.
halt. Hey, halt there. Hey,
Questionable color. We're gonna
I
leave
put
that
that
we're
down
just
to
gonna
the
let that
side
be.
because
We're gonna leave
I
that
don't
be.
know. Yeah, we'll
Oh,
sit that off
no.
to the side because
I got tea on the Arthur mat.
that might be some Sir Hiss in that tea over there. I'm not sure.
Ooh, ooh, sorry.
Some Sir Hiss is in that tea. You know what I'm saying? I
Gabe
don't
just
know.
gave it to me and left, so there's no telling what could have been happening here.
I don't
So
know. I hope.
yeah,
Okay, okay.
I might
We'll
take a
see.
break. I might take a break.
Let's see.
But yeah, this was a great round. Super exciting gameplay, and
Mhm.
we'll have one more round after this, and then we are going to top 8. And it looks like we are getting ready for an interview.
Mm,
I got the heads up that it's about to head in. So
let's do it.
as soon
Don't
as
touch that
they,
now. Keep it
yeah,
locked.
as soon as they bump us out, there we go.
Are we? We're live? Yep. Oh, we're live. Hey, look at that. Thanks a lot for the warning, production. We love you. Devin, you need to come in here too, buddy? Come on in, buddy. What's going on? What's going on, friends? Hey, so first of all, let's give a huge congratulations to Jack over here for the victory against Bleen. So I will tell you that, and you've been busy. You've been doing some work out here. So I want to, you wouldn't know this, but you've gotten a lot of people who are asking to see you on stream. Namely, there's one person, one beautiful bald person who you might know by the name of JDZ Quest,
Yes.
who specifically was like, I don't care what their record is right now. I need Jack on stream right now. So you can thank JDZ in large part for you being on there. So I'm going to give you an opportunity first of all to talk about what your thoughts were on the meta that you were expecting to see, and why you brought what you brought, and what were you anticipating, and yeah, just talking about your deck choice and how you got there.
Yeah. Well, thanks for JDZ for having me on the stream. As far as the deck choice goes, so last weekend I had played in a charity event that Kurt Spice ran, and I was playing a more mid-range style blue steel that I was prototyping. And I'm still working on that deck, but it's got some weaknesses. So amber steel is really tough for it. Green steel is pretty tough for it. And so when I was looking at this event, frankly, there's a lot of known players down here, right? There's people that are known to play a lot of amber steel, a lot of, I was kind of anticipating seeing green yellow dogs. And then beyond that, green steel did really well last weekend. Amber steel did really well last weekend. And so I was like, okay, I've got this mid-range deck. It's really fun, and it performed really well at this tournament, but I'm not so sure it's going to perform really well at this next one. And so when I was choosing a deck, I knew that targeting amber steel and green steel was kind of where I wanted to be at. And Alice is very, very good into that. I've got a lot of reps on the deck. I know sort of exactly what my game plan is there. Alice, Pete, Cogsworth are great cards against those particular matchups.
Absolutely, yeah. And we saw that kind of in full display here. You know, game one seemed like kind of like a learning game for you. You kind of were picking up the pieces and kind of watching the wheels turn in real time. But as we saw you perform in game two and game three of this sequence, you know, there was a lot of learning, and in the methodology where you decided to go to, like choosing to go with the Alices and the Calhouns, getting that Cogsworth down. So talk to me about, you know, what you were anticipating from this matchup and what changed as you were playing game to game.
Yeah, so this matchup is not one I have a ton of experience on, just because the deck type is not super popular itself. I do have a little bit of experience, and I knew sort of going in, like, okay, they struggled to interact with Alice beyond Under the Sea, and they really struggle if you start throwing down Pete's when you're trying to finish the game. So I knew that going in. Game one, I almost threw it because I forgot that I had seen him earlier out there with the big Grammatala, and I didn't play around the shift Grammatala.
Yeah, we saw that.
And that almost lost me game one. Yeah. Which, like, shout out to him. Like, that card is super fun. I love that card. I played it a bunch in set 3. And so then in game 2, I actually think I threw in game 2. I played a little bit too safely. There was a point where I could have warded up and given a +1 lore to a Smee and quested for an extra lore, and then just forced him to have an answer for the Gantu, which I don't know if he had at the time or not. If he had the answer, then what I did was correct. But if he didn't have the answer, then I get one more lore, and then at the very end of the game, I was going to 19 with Cogsworth, or singing that strength. And then in game 3, the pieces just came together for me. I knew get rid of the little Grammatala to stop the shift line, and he really stumbled, like not you know, as a player or anything, but his deck just, he didn't have ramp on 2, and so his game plan sort of just fell apart there.
Yeah, like the variance of what happens in the course of a game kind of lined up with what you needed to have done as well, and that welcome to playing card games.
Exactly.
Right? Welcome to playing card games, and those are the things that will make you want to flip your table sometimes, but that's what we do here. So I want to say again, thank you very much for coming all the way down here to Southside Gaming. Thank you very much for letting us watch those games. A lot of fun to watch. I think we're going to give you some time to kind of breathe, do what you need to do, because next round is turning around really quick. But Jack, thank you so much for making it out here.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, friend.